Welcome back. It's 2 weeks? About 2 weeks later, everyone.
Mid-August. It was the peak of summer, and the sweltering sun was beating down on the residents of Trista. After returning from Heimdall, we were given a whopping 5-day summer vacation before the school year resumed. Turns out, Thors sticks to its military roots, only granting extended vacations to students over the New Year's holiday. However, nobles are allowed to visit home, ostensibly to give them time to become familiar with their family's holdings. And, as you might expect, that meant most students from classes 1 and 2 spent summer away from Trista. Meanwhile, classes 3 through 5 were stuck on campus, envying the nobility as they studied and trained as usual. The other members of Class 7 and I chose to stay in Trista as well, facing the heat with our fellow students.
"8:30 a.m. It's so hot. I'm dying in here. I'm sick of this heat already. Talking about it is just making me feel even hotter. The academy should install an orbital air conditioner. At least then it'd be a little easier to cope. An orbital air conditioner? What is that? Well, it's this device that blows out cool air to help regulate a room's temperature. Maybe it'd help if you think of it as the opposite of a stove. Wow, that's some kind of wizardry. I've heard of them, but aren't they supposed to be prohibitively expensive? Only the most modern buildings seem to be able to afford them. Do you have one in your house? Well, there's one in the Rhineford Company's corporate headquarters, yeah. Be nice if my mother could spare one, for the academy she sits on the board of directors of. Seems a bit much to hope for. This is a military academy, so I doubt we can expect to be indulged quite that much. Still, a machine to help us cool in the summer. Whoever first invented that should get a medal. I'll admit, the summer heat here is more difficult to cope with than in Legram. As long as I think of it as another part of my training, it doesn't bother me all that much. Brehard gets similar summer heat waves, but it's usually a breeze blowing in from the canyon at this time of year. That does make summers a bit easier to manage. My hometown's up in the mountains, so it's pretty cool even around this time of year. Actually, now that you mention it, I would have thought you three would go back for the summer, being nobles and all. You were given permission, weren't you? If everyone else was going home, I would have considered it. But in the end, I decided against it. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago that I got to see Elise. Maybe next year. I came here to train. Until I feel I've made significant progress, I have no intention of returning home. Some of you saw my father's mansion. You think I'd go back to a place like that willingly? I'd much rather stay here and take my chances with heat stroke. Really that uncomfortable at home, huh? Still, hot as it is, there's a lot going on right now. I doubt all the people headed to the conference at the end of the month have much time to be worrying about the heat. You make a good point. You're talking about the West Zemuria Trade Conference, right? There it is in the background. That's the one. There's never been an international conference on this scale before. At least, not in modern times. Mayor Dieter Croy, who also happens to be the International Bank of Crossbell CEO, was the one who first proposed it. I've heard that Prince Olivert will be attending on behalf of His Majesty the Emperor, and Chancellor Osborne is supposed to be attending too. Seems crazy to think we met them both just a few weeks ago. The Chancellor in particular was a pretty intimidating figure. Seemed like a big scary monster. I've heard he served in the Imperial Army before becoming a politician. Then 11 years ago, His Majesty entrusted him with the position of Chancellor. Supposedly, a full 70% of the Imperial Army is under his jurisdiction. His real fame comes from establishing most of the nation's railway network, centered on the capital. Though he's also been responsible for annexing several smaller countries and independent states around Erebonia. I believe those all took place without any bloodshed, though, at least as far as I'm aware. I wouldn't put too much stock in what he's selling. Military spending in this country has increased exponentially since he took up the position as Chancellor. And that's only possible thanks to the tax revenue he gleans from the people of Heimdall and those annexed nations. Well, he was the one who ordered the construction of those 2 railway guns that they've got pointed at Crossbell too. At one point, Erebonia was on the verge of a full-scale war with Calvert because of those things. Oh yeah. I heard that it was actually LeBeau that proposed a way to avoid armed conflict. They ended up signing the Non-Aggression Pact, right? Yeah. Though as I'm sure you've noticed, there's still quite a bit of tension between the 2 countries. I'd be surprised if the issue reared its head again during the Tade Conference. Chancellor Osborne's been a real popular figure in the capital, though. Popular enough that he seems to have a group of terrorists after him. He does seem to be the Imperial Liberation Front's main target, doesn't he? You know, the hammer of judgment that shall topple the dictator, and all that. Indeed. They seem to harbor a deep-seated grudge against him. Their anger seemed a bit unusual in its intensity, didn't it? He does seem like the type who'd make a lot of enemies, especially with a face like that. Well, I'd rather not speak ill of my father's close ally, but... Come to think of it, isn't the instructor awfully late? It's well past time for homeroom to start. True, it should have started about 10 minutes ago, actually. I swear, that woman. She better not be sneaking off another hangover back at the dormitory. Wouldn't put it past her. I wish I could say there's no way our upstanding instructor would do that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Excuse me? I'll have you know I did no such thing. Today.
Instructor?
Good morning, instructor.
Morning, everyone!
Alright, calm down, calm down.
Anyway, I'll have you know I've got a good reason for being late today.
I hope it's the same reason you left the door open. It's quite rude.
And that reason is, we're going to be welcoming a new classmate today.
What?
A transfer student at this time of year?
Seriously?
All right, come on in.
Righto. Huh?
Crow?
But isn't he a second-year student?
I'm Crow Armbrust. Starting today, I'll be joining you fine folks as a member of Class VII. It's gonna be pretty sweet, guys.
What?
What? I mean, how?
Are you sure you want to know? It's a long tale fraught with the intrigue of school politics.
You failed, didn't you?
I don't think I'd put it quite like that. Back in his first year, he slacked off so much that he ended up failing a few of his classes. Then he came crying to me in a panic like, "Oh, help me, Instructor Sarah, they're not gonna let me graduate." So as a special exception, he's going to be joining us for the next 3 months to pay for his laziness.
You can't be serious.
That's an even more pathetic reason than I was bracing myself for.
I think you already know that Crow was one of the trial users for the Arcus test they ran last year. So I thought he might be a good role model for you. In that sense, anyway. And don't forget, he'll also be joining us on our future field studies, too.
Nice. Looks like you saved me the trouble of having to explain it all. Anyway, let's let the good times roll. Oh, and since we're all classmates now, no need for all that sweet talking you lay on the other second years, all right?
Right. Easier said than done, I fear.
If he was any more laid back, he'd be comatose.
Instructor, I can't help but notice you left the door open.
Yes, again, it's quite rude, and then Crow comes in and doesn't close the door either. Dear, oh dear.
Wait, Is there someone else, too?
Huh? Are you serious?
Oh, I was hoping to catch you off guard. All right, come on in and say hello.
I thought you forgot I was out in the hall!
What?
What?
You must be joking.
Hey, aren't you?
You're the girl we met in the Nord Highlands. Yuppers! Long time no see, guys. But I see a couple of you I don't know, so I guess I better introduce myself. I'm Milliam Orion. And this here is Erigetlam, but we'll just call him Lammy for short.
A pleasure to meet you all.
What the hell is that? Holy crap!
It's that thing we saw at Ark's fort.
So this is that strange girl you met in the Nord Highlands.
Oh, and a little house rule before anything gets blown up. No bringing that thing out in the classroom. If he accidentally smashes a wall or blasts through the ceiling, I'm the one who's gonna get chewed out for it.
Boo! Fine.
Oh, that's fine. Something to do.
Anyway. Nice to meet you guys.
Tell me you're kidding. Please?
I really wish I could.
Well, I can see we're in for some fun times these next 3 months.
One way to put it. Name of the game, everyone. Saturday. 3 days went by. At first, no one was sure what to make of Crow Armbrust and Intelligence Division Agent Milliam Orion's sudden transfer into Class VII. But within a matter of days, it almost felt like they'd been there all along. I'm sure none of you need to be reminded that it was none other than Emperor Dracos who ended the War of the Lions. But did you know that historical records tell us he had amazingly few soldiers under his command? Initially, his allies numbered only a few confidants and several warriors from Nord. And while supporters rallied to him in each region, his ranks still couldn't hope to compare to the other princes' armies. Nonetheless, they continued to advance, liberating region after region. After half a year of bloody battles, Prince Dracos met perhaps his most well-known supporter. Milliam, right? Would you happen to know the historical figure to whom I'm referring?
Sure do. Liana Sandler.
Look at Crow there in the background, just fast asleep.
Also known as the Lance Maiden.
Oh, right you are. Well done. Sandlet was the daughter of a count who ruled over a remote region, and accounts tell us she showed great martial skill from a young age. In particular, her skill with the lance was unparalleled. No records exist of her ever being bested in combat. She must have at some point, I'd imagine. Yep, the Lance Maiden also had a group of mighty warriors under her command, who fought alongside her in battle. Perhaps you'd like to illuminate us to the name of this famous band ring. The group of mighty warriors led by the Lance Maiden. That's the Growlsritter, of course. Yes. Eisenritter. The Eisenritter, also known as the Iron Knights. They were a band of knights said to be able to charge across the battlefield like lightning, cutting down all in their path. Correct. You've done your homework. The Wandering Prince met the Lance Maiden one day during a prolonged conflict in a remote region of the country. After recognizing each other as reliable and trustworthy, they pledged to fight together under a united banner. With the Lance Maiden and her knights bolstering his ranks, Dracos' army swept through one region after another. In just a year, he was able to defeat the other princes and free the imperial capital, Heimdall. As an interesting footnote, the castle the Eisenritter used as their base of operations 250 years ago just so happens to be only a hop, skip, and a jump away from Laura's home in Legram. Indeed. It's known as Lohengrin Castle. It's a beautiful old building situated on the shore of Lake Ebel, to the west of Legram. Oh, you've mentioned that before. Does anyone live there now? No. Due to the dangerous terrain there, no one goes near it. These days, it exists simply as a relic of a bygone age. The Arsaid family is responsible for the care and maintenance of the castle, though really only minimal work is done. Speaking of the Arsaid house, wasn't one of your ancestors the Eisenritter's second-in-command? Indeed. The Lance Maiden's most trusted assistant and confidant, from what I understand. The Sandlot family line ended with the death of the Lance Maiden, and it's partially because of that the Arsaid family mourns her death each year. I see. Oh, what's a fascinating story. The Gram, huh? Never had a mission there, so I've never been able to go. Maybe I should have stopped by when I went to Brehard a while back. You'd think she'd at least try to conceal the fact that she gets sent all over the country on secret missions. I know, she totally just let slip that she was doing something in Brehard too. Well, I suppose it's better than her being all distant and cagey around us. AP increased by 1! Okay, so tomorrow's a free day, everyone. Which means the next Wednesday, you'll have your usual practical exam. You better all bring your A game. Oh, Milliam and Crow. A few must-have instructional materials you guys are going to need as part of Class 7 finally showed up. I'll hand that stuff off to you once we're done here. So I want you to come with me to the faculty lounge. Righto! Man, what a drag. Alright, homeroom's out for the day. Flee! Flee while you can! Mango, if you'll do the honors. Yes, instructor. All rise. Bow. So, what do you think? Well, don't think we have to be on guard around her at least. Same. Though I'd rather she kept that giant silver thing of hers hidden. I don't think she's a bad girl. I was taking a nap in the courtyard yesterday, and she came and fell asleep next to me. Aww. Does that have to do with whether or not she's trustworthy? They look like a couple of kittens all curled up together. Their personalities may be worlds apart, but they're both rather cat-like in their own ways. She can't be more than 12 or 13. Still practically a child. I honestly can't wait to do Milliam's bonding stuff, because it's like, there's a lot of story there that will be beneficial for us in the future. Yes. Yeah, you're right. She's so chipper all the time that it's hard to really be cold toward her. Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to spurn her. She's got this natural charm, I think. Be that as it may, her presence here reeks of blood and iron, if you take my meaning. Well, it certainly seems that way.
As such, I'm planning on granting you a bit of additional assistance. I should have it ready for you in a few weeks' time.
It's hard to believe a girl like that could be an agent of the Intelligent Division. But just going off what happened in Nord, there's not much that would make me doubt it now. And then there's that thing. Aragetlum. That's always with her. She calls it Lammy, but aside from its name, we really don't know anything about it. It seems to be made of some strange material, both metallic and ceramic properties. Hard but pliable. Agreed. Doesn't look like anything you could make even with the most cutting-edge orbal technology. When I touched it, it felt really nice and cold. Wow, so you actually touched it. Doesn't escape my notice that it seems strikingly similar to the combat shells we fight in our practical exams. I think it's safe to assume they share some kind of common origin. Yeah. The instructor said she was forced to accept it, though in a sense Milliam was forced on us too. You're welcome to think what you will, but I don't trust her. Either way, she's technically our classmate now, like it or not. It may be a little early to tell whether we can trust her as a friend, but we should be able to figure out pretty quickly if we can count on her as a member of Class 7. Well, that's a logical way of breaking it down, at least. You're right. It's still pretty early to make sweeping judgments. Knowing her background would be great. What's really important is whether we can count on her in a fight. Agreed. As students of a military academy, that's probably the most important issue. We'll have to wait and see. While considering we're living in the same dormitory, it'd be good if we all get along. Yeah, I wouldn't want her to think we're trying to make her feel unwelcome either. And then there's Crow. What's he like, Green? You seem like you get along with him pretty well. I don't know if I'd put it quite like that. If I had to say, I'd describe him as a capricious gambling addict way too prone to ante up for every hand. Idios help us. Sounds like the kind of miscreant one would be better off avoiding. You can count on him when the chips are down, though. Because, you know, gambling analogies. He really helped me out last month when Elise went into the Old Schoolhouse. He's good in a fight, and pretty handy with his arcus too. Maybe we're worrying over nothing then. Still, not really sure how to connect with him, you know? Well, at least we're in separate dorms for the time being. We'll just have to see how things go. Just drop me off here, alright? No bonding points, like at all.
Hello, Reen Schwarzer speaking.
Oh, hi there, Reen.
It's Towa.
Do you have a moment?
Towa? Well, this is a surprise. What can I do for you?
You've got a new student in your class now, right? Well, her student notebook is ready, so I figured it'd be best to get it to her as soon as possible. And since you handled it last time, would you mind coming to get it for her?
Oh, you're talking about Milliam. Sure thing. I'll come get it right away. You want me to swing by the student council room then?
That'd be great. Thanks.
She sure doesn't waste any time. I should head on over to the student council room before it gets too late.
Indeed. I think we should be okay doing that for a little while. Yeah, obviously we're doing the rounds, etc. at some point, but I think we're okay for a little while in regards to where we can go. So, let's go see Towa. Took its time loading that was strange. Just wondering if she's around. I don't see her around. We should be okay with female student. We should be okay. Just female student. Female student, of course. Well, Towa said she wanted me to come to the student council room.
The door's open. Come on in.
Sorry if I disturbed you.
Oh, Reen. Not at all. Sorry for making you come all the way out here.
Don't worry about it. It's class business anyway. That's quite the spread you've got on your desk there. Is it just me, or does your workload only ever seem to increase?
Well, I've got a little extra going on right now that's keeping me a little busier than normal. Anyway, this is Milliam's notebook. Crow's already got one, along with the added pages on the Arcus units you all have, so she's the last one who needs it.
All right, I'll be sure to pass this on to Milliam next time I see her. Actually, if you don't mind my asking, how much do you know about why she's here at the Academy?
All I know is that she came with a recommendation from the Army's Intelligence Division, really. You know those combat shells you fight in your practical exams? They're being used with the Emperor's authorization. Apparently, it's something similar for Milliam. They can't deny her admission if the Emperor's pushing it through.
This goes all the way up to His Majesty?
Seems like it. The Chancellor was the one who set up both the Intelligence Division and the Railway Military Police. But neither of those organizations could have been established without His Majesty's consent. That's what's unusual. Anyway, because of that, the Academy can't really turn down a direct referral with that kind of backing.
So that's how it is. But even accounting for that, I never would have expected Crow to be transferred into our Class 2.
Yeah, I was just as shocked as you when I found out. I knew he was a habitual class cutter, but I always figured he at least had enough credits to graduate. Oh, I feel like a failure as student council president for not noticing. Maybe even a failure as a friend.
No, Towa, give her a hug.
Whoa there. I think you're being a little hard on yourself. What about Angelica? Does she have enough credits to graduate?
Angie at least makes sure to attend the classes she needs for graduation. Apparently, Crow not only hadn't attended enough class units, he also didn't turn in some essential assignments.
What's he been doing?
But as long as he's active and engaged with his Class 7 work over the next couple months, he'll be able to graduate.
Still, I get the distinct feeling this 1-2 punch of transfer students wasn't just a happy coincidence. Am I right?
Well, yeah. The principal thought placing Crow in Class 7 might be beneficial for the rest of you, too. His grades might be a sorry sight, but he really knows how to get things done when he wants to. Did you know he was responsible for all of the event planning at last year's Academy Festival?
Crow did that? Voluntarily?
It might be kind of awkward having a second-year student in your class, but I hope you guys will all get along. That goes for Milliam too, of course. She might have an unusual background, but at the end of the day, she's still a 13-year-old girl.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So she really is 13 then?
Yeah, she scored really well on her entrance exam though, so I think she can handle the curriculum fine. She might be small, but she can roll up her sleeves with the best of them.
Now where have I heard of someone like that before? Oh, sorry. Looks like I've got a call coming in.
Go ahead and answer. I don't mind. I wouldn't want you to miss anything important.
Alright. Excuse me then. Hello, Reen Schwarzer speaking.
Hello, Reen. It's your favorite instructor here.
Thomas?
Are you still on the Academy grounds by any chance?
As much as it pains me to say it, I am.
No need to sound so suspicious. It's just that after I gave Milliam all the things I had for her, she just took off somewhere. You know how she tends to be kind of a mischief maker. So could you find her and drag her back to the dorms for me?
All right. I can only imagine what would happen if she were to flash that silver thing of hers around on the Academy grounds again.
Yeah, I'd really rather avoid a repeat of yesterday.
What?
Anyway, I leave it in your capable hands, brave leader of Class 7. Mwah!
Well, wait a second. When did I become the...
She really does trust you. Anyway, I'll let you go then. Are you still up for helping me with a few requests tomorrow?
Of course. I'll be around. Still, I know you've got a full slate and all, but try not to overwork yourself. And if there's anything else I can do to make life a little easier for you, don't hesitate to ask.
Aww.
Sure. And thanks.
Like, regardless of my thoughts of, like, Towa and Reen being perfect for each other and all that type of stuff, it's like, that is still sweet of him, though, isn't it? Alright. Guess I'd better start looking for Milliam. Where do I even start? She could be almost anywhere. I should probably ask a couple of the others for help. I doubt I'll accomplish much, just checking places at random. Come to think of it, I haven't gotten Crow's number yet either. I think 2 of her classmates will be enough for this. Though I should remember to ask him when I get the chance. Let's go. I mean, it's like, who out of all these would I choose? It's like, I've gotta go with users, haven't I? Now the question is, I'm going to be good to take her around with me at this point. Like, considering we're looking for Milliam. Ooh. It's like, who's gonna be... Like, there might be potential dialogue. I can't remember if there is or not based on this, but it's like, and that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking, Eustace is obvious for, like, why I want him based on how it goes from Milliam and him. But who would be best? I'm thinking Mango here. Because he can play off Eustace, and there could be some fun dynamic going on there that Milliam might play in towards. Again, thinking there's potential dialogue, that sort of thing. I understand what you're saying. Can only imagine the kind of trouble she'll get up to if left unattended. I imagine it's such a change for scenery for her that she's just walking around taking it all in. Yeah, I think you're right. I doubt she's left the academy grounds yet, though, so we should be able to find her. I'll just have to think. If I were new here, what would seem the most interesting? Then check all those places. Understood? We really need to get her back to the dormitory at once. Alright, so the plan is, hopefully, that I can still do the rounds at this point. Because it's like, that's essentially what I was waiting for. We might as well get the books while we're here. That's the same as before, so it's like it's this one now. Blah, 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 blah. There you go, book notes. Yeah, so I do believe like we can do the rounds. Yeah, I was waiting for this moment because it's like, it feels... It ties into what we're doing in terms of the story, that idea of like we're searching around looking for Milliam. It's like, we'll find her eventually. It's just we got a group of people with us this time, so it's more fun that way, because there might be extra dialogue on top of what was there before. We shall see, though. What are you buying, stranger? You know, all that type of stuff. So, we'll see about all that in the next part. Ta-ta for now.